Hello, this is Matthew Robert Payne, and this is uh, teaching that will be in a book, uh, Keys to Manifesting the Kingdom Life. This is chapter 3, and it's called I Can Visit Heaven at Will as Often as I Wish. Part of living normal Christian life, one that is promised to us from Scripture, bearing in mind that Scripture says that we're seated in heavenly places. It can be quite normal for us to have a vision of heaven and visit heaven and walk around heaven and explore heaven. So my first encounter of heaven, I was with a counselor, and the counselor said I was going to see a picture in my mind, and I was to tell him what I could see in my mind. And when he said that, I saw a picture of Jesus in heaven, and Jesus was in front of me, and Jesus gave me his robe. Jesus gave me a crown that was off his head, and then Jesus took a signet ring that was on his ring finger and put the signet ring on me. And each of those things have a meaning and a purpose. And then Jesus invited me to come and meet his Father in the throne room. And I initially didn't want to go into the throne room because I didn't feel worthy to go into the throne room and meet God. It was a big thing, and I felt embarrassed and I felt ashamed. And the counselor talked me through it and said, because Christ's death on the cross and his righteousness makes you worthy. And then I still didn't go in, and the counselor asked me why. And I said that I feel that God would strike me dead because at the time I had addictions and sin in my life, and I thought a holy God would strike me dead. And you could tell I was in heaven because I was having those thoughts. And the counselor said, Jesus isn't going to hold your hand and take you into heaven so that God can strike you dead. You're safe with Jesus. So I went in to the throne room and I met God, and that was a wonderful experience. The first 2 chapters of my book, Visiting Heaven, Lessons Learned, My Visits to Heaven, Lessons Learned, the first 2 chapters of that book record what happened in that first encounter of heaven. I began to, as my life developed and as I knew that I was worthy of heaven despite my sin, as I come to understand that God loved me, and the more I drew closer to God, the more heaven opened for me. So I often visited heaven, and I've had some good encounters in heaven, and many of those encounters are written about in the book, My Visits to Heaven, Lessons Learned. And that book is free on Kindle, and you can download that book and develop some faith around maybe it's possible for you to go to heaven too. We need to understand that the righteousness of Christ is ours, and it's not what we do necessarily. It's not the sin that we commit that keeps us out of heaven. God gives us the robe of righteousness, and we're found righteous before the Lord, before God, and we've got every opportunity to go to heaven and experience heaven. And so I started to experience heaven and have multiple visits of heaven. And all it really takes for that to break open in your life is for you to have your first encounter of heaven, have your first visit to heaven. And my first visit to heaven, I was helped by a counselor, a prophetic person who helped me have my first encounter. And possibly that may be the thing that's holding you back. Possibly you need someone with more experience and more faith to hold your hand and help you have your first visit of heaven. And that's going to be the subject of the next chapter in this book. So you can look forward to finding out about how you can donate money to my ministry and have me take you on a Facebook video call or a Zoom video call to heaven. So it's exciting going to heaven. The atmosphere of heaven is full of glory. When you encounter heaven, you feel a very strong presence of the Lord. You feel happiness, you feel love, you feel joy. You get a sense of the eternity of heaven. The people of heaven are happy. The people of heaven are contented. When you visit heaven, you can visit with people who've passed on that mean something to you. You can have conversations with your relatives and meet with them. I know I've been to my mansion and my parents' mansion in heaven, and I've interacted with them in their house in heaven. They also come down to earth to visit with me and walk with me on earth, but it's often encouraging to visit with my parents in heaven, and it can really be exciting. So I can with my own will, as often as I wish, visit heaven. I can decide I'm going to go to a certain saint's house. I can go to the Apostle Paul's house in heaven and have a conversation with him. So that's possible when you're manifesting the kingdom life. So this is one of the keys to manifesting the kingdom life, is having the ability to go to heaven at will.